Call to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there anybody online?
Not that I can see.
You had a chance to review last month's meeting. 2 months ago now, March 11th. Could I have someone move that we approve the minutes, March 11th?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chairman's comments. I just keep on receiving all these things on my phone that Youth and Family Services are doing, and I just asked how much all facets of the community have an opportunity to participate in parents raising children all the way through to, you know, the little ones in the summer programming. So kudos that I try to say every month. Directors.
Thank you. Well, Rafferty, I thought it might be nice to talk a little bit about the connection to the police department that Youth and Family has, and the reason why I'd love to have you represented at the table. And so, and Ryan, you've been around for a long time, so you remember Healthy Community, Healthy Youth. And so there's a town mandate that indicates who has to be at the table: public health nursing, someone from the school district. Actually, Lisa Castro is usually here. Mr. Plotkin is here as a parent. Jeff is a member at large. We have student reps, and we went from 2 to having 4 because the kids are so busy. I at least wanted 1 to be able to come. So we try to have 2 females and 2 males, different grades, usually around 11th and 12th or 10th and 11th. And then the police, because we do so much programming that's, connected to some of the efforts that you make in your community policing programs. One of the new initiatives that I'll talk to you about, I know you just got back from vacation, so I didn't send anything long on Monday. Yeah. So our State Department of Education grant is the largest funding grant that we have here at the agency. And there's a lot of involvement with juvenile diversion boards. And we haven't had one in Saybrook for probably at least 10 years. It was here when I first started. And so there's a big push at the state level for us to get re-involved with that. There's not a lot of money to back that up. It's just, encouragement. But one of the things that I wrote during the grant was a pilot proposal for the superintendent, and he and the director of pupil and professional services, we've already met to have a discussion. But for chronic absenteeism and school attendance, asking families or individuals to come here for 1 to 3 sessions of family therapy that's specifically around the issues related to chronic absenteeism. So the State Department of Education really liked that pilot program. We have 2 clinicians who are LMFTs and school certified as well. And they'll do some specific training, and they already have actually, on some of the underlying issues related to absenteeism. So, an issue is that you can't mandate them to come here for 1 to 3 sessions, but it's going to be part of an offering that potentially we would make as part of a truancy board with the school personnel. So definitely want to talk to you more about.
Yeah. So Stephanie and I both got promoted to lieutenant, and part of that, when we first undertook those roles, was chief delegated a bunch of different jobs out, and we kind of selected a few different things. I've had quite a bit of experience with the youth and SROs and juvenile justice. Stephanie has not. So we actually said we're going to give that.
So I'm going to reach out to you.
Oh, good. Good.
I'm glad you talked about
Yeah.
And one initiative was juvenile review board to get that started again.
Great.
So we definitely are very much on board with doing that.
Okay. Wonderful.
Then just working together as we have
Yeah.
for 23 years.
Yeah.
So, a resource for each other, just to, make the town successful.
Great.
I think the diversion's really important for the kids. It's
Nationally, that's one of the most serious concerns.
yeah.
In the school systems nationally. To be proactive is very positive, because they don't go to school. They just, during their absence is one issue, but continuing, not going to have much of a.
Yeah. Okay, well, good, that's good to hear. So we'll get together after some of the dust settles a little bit. So the impact plan again is the pilot program and to address and support the individual and the family members. So I'll be reaching out to the superintendent again soon. So our summer programming, we have a few things that I'll share here. Grades 4 through 6. We got a large donation around Christmas time, and the first selectman asked me to help provide some support to local families who are under-resourced at the holiday time. One of the issues we have with spending large amounts of money, you wouldn't think it would be a problem, but at that time of the year it is, because you're just trying to figure out what can you do and kind of, you know, give it to families. But what I asked him, I proposed getting some entry tickets to the Mystic Aquarium, but also Nature's Art, which is in Montville, it's that dinosaur place, so that we could take kids on trips after the holidays, you know, when there's not so much going on, either on a half day of school or some other time. So this is the day after school lets out. We have a school bus and it's grades 4, 5, and 6. And then we are planning one for younger students as well. But the donor was really excited actually to be doing this instead of, you know, just buying toys and gifts for the kids. So he was really looking forward to getting some information about how it went, and maybe he'll be, you know, inclined to gift us again this coming year. Yeah, so I thought that was a nice way to use that. So in the summer, we're going to be doing pop-ups, trips, and clubs, and what that involves is, and actually, Taryn, part of the conversation is around Park and Rec, but some of our programming, there's a behavioral health component to it, and so we have program coordinators as well as mental health interns and clinicians, because some of the students need extra support no matter what activity they might be doing. So we've been really tasked with finding something of interest to students, which has been challenging since COVID. I'm sure that you can speak to that as well. And so we're trying to offer parents also a longer supervised period of time, either from 9 to noon or like 12 to 4 or 1 to 4. Part of the issue is that our location, we're not really child-proofed or approved as a summer camp location. So we do take the kids, and luckily we have 2 vans, but we're taking them out to do active things like Gillette's Castle or hiking, and outdoor fun is one of the names of the clubs. Some of the pop-ups, we have a new intern from UMass Global. She's phenomenal. A lot of the kids already know her from the high school, and she's been a nanny in town for many years, and she works down at Fresh Salt. So she has a lot of great ideas, and involving music and Taylor Swift and all the things that kids really like. So we're really trying to reach out the best way we can and get the word out to parents. Taryn, are you seeing you know, registrations for programs going up or kind of staying about the same?
Yeah, they're right now, like our after school programs are a little bit lower just because of sports going on, and even kids in the teen center, it's quiet now.
Right.
So it definitely fluctuates depending on what the sports going on are going on. Our programs at Goodwin have been pretty consistent as far as after school, but our middle school ones definitely fluctuate depending on what's going on in the sports season.
So I'm going to just jump down for a second to where it says collaborative planning with Acton Library and Park and Rec. So pre-COVID, we used to meet with the director over there and at the library, because we're dealing with the same population of students. So we want to reduce redundancy and not have duplication of efforts, right? That's what the budget, the Board of Finance is always talking to us about. And then through COVID, we were all just kind of throwing everything at the wall to see what would stick. And then after that, I'm not sure we really found our groove again. And so, you know, I'd like to propose meeting again, just to talk about planning for different kinds of activities and see where our program coordinators could partner with you and help provide additional staff, because you have the location, right? And so there might be a way that we can send some of our program staff over there and work together. We've done a little bit of that at the library with Brian's story and some of the things that he does. So that's kind of going forward. So prevention items, this is National Prevention Week. You probably saw our banner out front. We have a daily newsletter going out with prevention items. And then this Friday over at the field hockey field at middle school for grades 4 through 8, we're doing some activities from 2:30 to 4:30, some games. We'll have all kinds of prevention materials there, but they won't really pick up on those. Yeah, but it'll be fun. And just exposure to kind of the messaging and our staff is part of the process for that. So we're excited about that. Staff return to duty. A lot of you know Justin is back. He's been back for a few weeks. He was out for about 3 months due to an Achilles tear. And his return to work orders from the doctor said no obstacle courses, and I can't make him run anywhere. So we're keeping him kind of quiet. So one of the things that goes along with the pilot program in the grant that I just wrote for the State Department is an employee workshop for teens. And we are, from the survey information that we got back, fewer teens than ever before, like I would say pre-COVID, are working after school or part-time jobs. And we're not really sure necessarily why that is. Is there no opportunity for them to do that? Do they not know how to go about it? Are they too busy to do that? Do parents not encourage them to do that? I know when I was 16, my parents were like, you know, college is coming, you better get a job. So I'm meeting with the Chamber of Commerce to see if we can put together kind of an initial employee orientation kind of program and set something up in the spring where local businesses are open to meeting teens and talking to them about, you know, what it would be like to work there. Would they like to work there? So we used to do an employment service here. And then over time, because of liability and kind of lack of adult supervision, we pulled back from that a little bit. So we're still working out some of the finer points of this. I'll give you one example. And it was a 12-year-old who went somewhere, parents dropped him off, and then they gave him the chainsaw to use without his parents' permission. And so then we were like, oh, we can't do that anymore. But also, you know, people used to know all their neighbors, and that's not necessarily the case anymore. So there's a lot of safety issues and liability concerns. So
reviewing the results of the survey, because I used to be in charge. We did it at the middle school. What was most shocking, and it's absolutely national, it's not just out Saybrook, but kids at the high school level are not doing an awful lot after school. They're not necessarily, you know, Saybrook, you know, upper grade kids, maybe because of COVID, but they're not into sports, they're not, you know, into working. What are they doing? And that is a concern for the community because we have a high school. Yeah, it just is really, you know, what are they doing?
Nonsense.
Developing appropriate skills for all what's important. And so that's, I just have to say that was the most shocking. We've talked about the results. And we certainly offer things, but they're not doing.
yeah. And I know that doesn't apply to Cassie because she's very, very good. She's going to speak in a moment, but I also just wanted to go back to the ARPA funding. I'd written a proposal for a bilingual educator or social worker within the community. And now we have 3 people that are helping us provide those services, either through story time at Acton Library or Cassie will be coming with us on summer trips, which she did last year as well. And then Melissa Vasquez McCoy from the middle school and the elementary school is helping us identify multilingual family children who can take part in our programs, but their parents may not read our newsletter or know how to get in touch with us to register. So we're really excited about that. But I'm so glad you could be here tonight, and you were going to speak a little bit about Exploramos.
So my Exploramos class is a capstone class in which something that we have to achieve before graduating, which actually ties into what you were just talking about with the whole having like bilingual helpers in our community, kind of just supporting students that are like learning English kind of overall, whether that be Goodwin or middle school or even at the high school level. So I kind of just wanted to bring to light what my class has been doing. So my class is about 7 students, and each of us, once a week, we go down to Goodwin and we kind of set this up with Ms. Vasquez McCoy and Ms. Del Tenere, as you mentioned. And so we've been meeting one-on-one with different bilingual like English learners at Goodwin. I think my personal student is in kindergarten. I think the oldest is in 4th grade. So we've just been kind of just being with them in the classroom and helping them as best as we can, whether that be academically or social emotionally, and helping them be able to communicate with their peers and kind of just being like a little bridge between the 2 languages. And I felt that it was important to kind of bring this up and emphasize the importance of having like bilingual helpers in these situations, because it really helps with getting rid of like misunderstanding and social isolation and loneliness and just kind of those issues that our English learners are like at heightened risk for because of that barrier that they suffer from. I kind of just wanted to bring it up and kind of let you guys know.
Well, thank you so much. And even just the comfort level last year when you showed up and there were 2 Spanish speaking students, you get to see their body posture relax once you began to speak with them. And that's really, so impactful. Yeah.
So we do a lot with that at work as well, to officers speak
Mhm.
Spanish, and it's the same thing. It just makes it so much more comfortable for the, Spanish speaking families.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to loan those services out. If
Yeah.
there's events where you think you might have a draw of,
Mhm.
Spanish speaking families coming in,
Great.
Officer Moore
Yeah.
enjoys doing it.
Mhm.
It'd be a good way to tie in the police department
Yeah.
to use the family.
Great, thank you.
So
Thank you.
make
And
the
is he
families-
sergeant?
He is
now?
a sergeant.
Okay,
Moore now,
Sergeant
yeah,
Moore now.
yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
Sergeant Mikowski.
Okay.
There's a huge population. Sure.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
moved in the past couple of years.
Mhm.
That is, speak basically Spanish. But to get the kids involved
Yeah.
with the parents, good for you, that's great.
I also wanted to offer to the police department, I know you have some new officers, and I got 3 calls in the last 2 weeks or so about residents that the officers were concerned about. And so if it's helpful at all, Sue and I would be happy to come over and talk to them about the process for accessing social services and who we can help and what we can do. So
Figure it out.
yeah, I'll send you an email and just
Okay.
offer that up. So, yeah.
One thing I did drop off last week.
Oh, yeah.
Bring Me Back Home.
Mhm.
So the state of Connecticut has a program called Bring Me Back Home. It's basically families can go and register a loved one who might be a wanderer, an autistic student, just somebody that they're concerned with. They basically go on themselves to the website, upload a picture, emergency contact information, habits, medical concerns, things like that. Then if we take a report of a missing person, our job is to search that database, which would give us, crucial information really quickly. There's one family right now registered on that
Okay.
database, so we're trying to promote it through social media at
Sure.
the police department. But if you come across families that have that concern through the school system,
Okay.
it'd be great to try and promote.
Sure. We have a staff meeting tomorrow, so I'll or next week rather. So just from the sectors who are here, anything from public health nursing that you'd like to share or?
No, other than we didn't meet last week because we didn't have an agenda. But prior to that, we had not been able to find an APRN for our psych component. So we've been using the social worker, Michaela, and the nurse in the town. They're seeing people over at the estuary, the elderly people, seniors. I'm not gonna call them elderly. So they're getting more and more comfortable just walking in, seeing the nurse there and the social worker, and they triage people appropriately, whether they need to see their primary care physician or they need a psych consult. There's, people that are lonesome, depressed, living alone, don't know what to do. So it's been a very good service, and she's been busy.
Yeah. And she works very closely with Sue Pintoli too.
She does. Yeah, she does.
So, it's great. Yeah. How about schools or parenting stuff?
We just enjoyed our first round of mini golf as a family of 5.
There you go.
Yeah. No, it's busy time of year at the high school. For like I just said, Cassie 1 month out from graduation. Basically, so it's the busy time of year. But everybody's we're doing good. Lots of good celebrations coming up. A couple of new things that we're trying out. One that comes to mind is our yearbook distribution. We're gonna do a little bit differently this year. We're gonna take advantage of one of our beaches, I think, and have our seniors meet down there, because they do a senior sunrise picture at the beginning of the year. So we said, let's do a senior sunset. And
That's
Yeah,
nice.
accompany that, so we'll see how it goes.
Mhm.
But yeah, just
How many students in the graduating class?
seniors are mid-80s.
Outside graduation.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Great.
How many students in total are in the high school these days?
340.
Mm,
Not too far off from 2002, so.
okay,
It went up a little.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's about-
right. And how about for parenting stuff in your kids' age range?
I mean, echoing, their talking that it's really busy and, yeah, it's just this kind of like grind to the end of the school
Yeah.
year is full of twists and turns, you know,
Mhm.
just soccer's back in, my son does the club soccer and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
back in stuff.
Mhm.
Jujitsu, and it's just like driving, picking up
Yeah.
and all that stuff. It's good. I mean, they're somewhat gainfully employed. I paid them
Mhm.
$5 a kid per car to watch the car.
Okay.
And then $20 to move a big pilot.
That's good. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. Okay. And how about Park and Rec? Anything?
Gearing up for the summer
Yeah.
and same time thing, wrapping things up for the end of the year and then
Yeah.
busy time for the summer stuff. Yeah.
Cool. I think that's it on my end.
Anybody else have anything else they'd like to bring up? Hearing none. The next meeting is on June 3rd. So could I have a motion for adjournment?
I know.
Second,
Short and sweet. Yeah.
all those in favor, please say aye. Thank you
All
very
right.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.